Hello, Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon, and then I post it up to Facebook. I also do the question and answer. I post it usually on a Wednesday, and then I post this up to Facebook. Noon. What was I saying? It's on at noon. No, it's on noon in Arizona, but it's on at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Whew, I'm telling you, the Christmas week has just been cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Anyway, all right, this video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Boom! Shakalaka, done. I also wanted to thank my sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They are an online therapy company. They will find you a therapist online, which is fabulous. And I just wanted to read some of the good reviews that they've been getting that they've been sending to me from BetterHelp for people that have actually gone through BetterHelp. Carolyn helped me during a transition out of a 5-year relationship that I was struggling to end. She was very grounded and encouraging. I appreciate her stable demeanor and being able to be vulnerable with her. Sometimes I would think I have no idea what I'm going to talk about with her, but she was always very professional and guided the session, so it was always very helpful. I'm grateful for her professional skills, counseling ability, and support. So that's awesome. So there's another 5 testimonials from people that have been seeing therapists on betterhelp.com/Chris Godinez, and I will put the information down on my thing. So they're international. So if you're, outside the U.S. and you need to get into a therapist, because I know some of the therapy, national therapy stuff is, like a year wait, which I think is ridiculous. They can get you into a therapist here in the U.S. Of course, there's going to be a time difference, so you're going to have to work that out. If you're in a small town and you want to find a therapist and you don't want to drive for hours, then go to betterhelp.com/Chris Godinez, and they will find a licensed professional therapist in your state that is master's level or a PhD level. So thank you, betterhelp.com/Chris Godinez. Okay, so let's dive into the questions, shall we? Okay, I am new to all of this. What is a dark triad and how do they justify their horrible behavior? Good Lord. Okay, so a dark triad. So let's think about it. Abusers are everything's on a scale. Everything seriously is on a scale. There can be little traits of all the way down to completely and totally malignant. So a dark triad is when somebody has slid down the scale and they are now not just narcissistic, they're showing signs of all the different personality disorders. So when somebody is malignant, okay, a malignant narcissist, they've slid down. They enjoy harming. They enjoy hurting. It makes them feel powerful. They don't care what other people think or feel. So they are narcissistic on one side of the triangle. They are psychopathic, antisocial, rules don't apply to them. And then they are Machiavellian, control freaks. So when somebody starts sliding down the scale and they become malignant, no matter what they are, no matter what personality disorder they are, if they start sliding down the scale and they become malignant, all of the personality disorders start overlapping. Seriously. So they'll be having traits of all of them, which is a little scary. So a dark triad is somebody who is antisocial personality disorder, narcissistic, and Machiavellian. Control freak, psychopathic, the rules don't apply to them, they can do whatever they want. Narcissistic, it's all about their wants, their needs, their desires, me, I, more, my genitals, that kind of thing. And they justify their behavior because they know damn straight and well what they're doing. Trust me on that one. They are a lot of magic thinking. They have a lot of magic thinking. They really truly believe that their wants, needs, desires need to be granted immediately because they're them, and how dare you not give me what I want, So there's a lot of that real narcissistic magic thinking that a healthy, normal person does not have. And they justify their behaviors because they truly do not think other people exist. Other people, to them, have no more meaning than this pen. What can this pen be used for? How can I use this pen? What can I get out of this pen? That's all they want. They see other people. I'm sorry if you hear knocking. I'm still having some housework done. So they see other people as objects to be used. That is truly how they see it. And they justify their horrible behavior because to them it's not horrible. To them it's like, well, I'm getting my needs met. Well, I'm getting what I want. Well, I'm me, I'm over my genitals. You know, they really, truly do not care. So when a person starts sliding down that scale and they enjoy harming, they enjoy hurting, they're now malignant. And when they start breaking laws, i.e. a stalker, cyber stalker, in-person stalker, they truly feel that the laws do not apply to them. That is antisocial. That is psychopathic. That's that. But it's not crazy in the legal sense of the definition of crazy. So let's talk about that for a second, shall we? So in law, it is a matter of knowing right from wrong. That's really what defines crazy. Did you know the difference between right and wrong? So when you're dealing with somebody who is cold and calculating and causing great loss of life, and they know it's going to cause great loss of life, they knew the difference between right and wrong. So let's take a look at, like, for example, that the murderer up in Colorado that rigged his apartment to blow at the same time that he was doing whatever he was doing in the theater. This was, 5 years ago? So he rigged on purpose, knowing that it would distract the first responders because he wanted to have maximum amount of loss of life. He knew what he was doing. There's, they're going to try to, they tried to show that, he didn't know what he was doing. He was crazy, blah, blah, blah. Nope. It was malice aforethought. He knew exactly what he was doing. Because you don't set bombs to go off to distract first responders and not know that it's going to distract first responders. So, so the definition is, do they know the difference? Do they know right from wrong? Were they malice aforethought? Were they thinking this through? Frick yeah. So, are narcissists crazy? Well, in our definition of crazy, yeah, healthy, normal people do not seek to destroy other people. Healthy, normal people, if they don't get along with somebody, they move on. Okay, it didn't work out, great. You go your way, I'll go mine, we're done. Or we've got kids together, let's put the kids first. Let's make sure the kids are okay, and we're done. We leave each other alone. But no, narcissists don't do that. Dark triads don't do that. They need the drama like the rest of us need oxygen. And they have got to have the drama triangle, which is the villain, the victim, and the hero. They're always the hero. You're always going to be the villain. Whoever they've designated as the victim is the victim, either the kids or their newest girlfriend or boyfriend. So, yeah, so they know what they're doing. They don't kid yourself. I get so angry, and it's so funny because Kim Saeed just did a post not too long ago about how she is so sick and tired of people going, poor perpetrator. And I'm right there with her. It's like these a-holes know exactly what they're doing. Don't kid yourself. They absolutely know they're being malicious. They absolutely know they're causing harm. They absolutely know that they're hurting. So, yeah, no sympathy for the perpetrators. Sorry, not a humanist. Have fun with that. Go find somebody else who does that if that's you. So, you know what I'm saying? So, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They absolutely know what they're doing, and they justify it in their own head because they honestly feel they have a sense of entitlement. They expect to be recognized without commiserating achievements. It's like, well, tell me I'm fabulous, tell me I'm this, tell me I'm that, and it's like, no. So yeah, they know what they're doing. Don't buy that they are, they're mentally ill. Oh, they don't know. No, they know. They plan it out. The stalkers plan it out. The cyberbullies plan it out. The murderers, like that guy up in Colorado, planned it out. They know what they're doing. Absolutely. And they justify it. They make it okay in their own head because they're the only thing that matters. They don't ever think about another human being. They don't. Remember, we have no more value to them than this pen. We are objects to be used to them. And they will never change. They don't get better. They don't have epiphanies. They don't, they can fake it. I'm sure that, in prison, these people would be like, oh, I've changed. Oh, I understand my guilt and blah, 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 blah. And they're only doing it so they can get out of jail or so that they can get out of parole or whatever. So, no, they know what they've done. All right. And I think I just gave the legal definition of crazy. So it's knowing right from wrong, So, okay. So, for example, the other one, Jared Loughner, who shot Gabby Giffords. totally could not define the difference between right and wrong, was in such a delusional state that it didn't make sense that this person would be dead. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like a video game in his head, or, you know, Unreal or whatever. When he got on forced psych meds, he had a huge amount of guilt. And then, of course, he went off of them and right back into the delusions. So the difference is that delusional people who are truly crazy really have no definition or definite, you know, this is right, this is wrong. It's like, it's a delusion. It is unreal. It is insane. They don't understand the damage that they are doing or that they are killing, or, you know, because it's not real to them. So, but with the other one, intentionally booby trapping the apartment to draw off the first responders, malice aforethought. That takes knowing right and wrong. So, yeah. So there's that. So, okay. Hope that answers that question. Why does my boyfriend constantly threaten to leave, but then never does? He threatens to tell the kids he is leaving. Okay. So, abusers in general, and this goes for malignant borderlines, malignant narcissists, use the threat of abandonment to force the spouse to behave in the way that they want. So they're abusive and you want them to leave, right? But then they never do. They keep threatening, but then they never do. And it's a game. It's a cat and mouse game. It's a way to torture you. You think that you're about to escape them and, oh, no, I'm going to stay. It's a game for them. It's another way to torture you. It's another way to hurt you. And dragging the kids into it, oh my God, no. Kids don't need to know what adults are doing. They don't. They don't need to know the boyfriend's leaving. You know, why would the boyfriend do that? Why? Because they're attempting to see if they can get you upset. And two, they're attempting to see if they can get the kids on their side. I talked about that last week. So, yeah, so it's a game. It's a game, and it's a way to torture you. It's a way to make you think you're going to be free of them, and then nope, they're there. So if you can get out, get out. They're not going to leave. As long as they are getting the narcissistic supply that they need, they're not going to leave. You know, if they're seeing the upset, because remember, our tears are delicious to them. Our anger is delicious to them. It makes them so happy to upset us because they absorb that. That's their narcissistic supply. That's their drug. And they enjoy it. So if you cut off their supply, they got nothing. So gray rocking, no contact, get out, get a good therapist, find a shelter, get out. They're not going to leave, then you need to. Absolutely. And the biggest fear that a lot of people have is that, oh my gosh, well, but I've got kids with them and I would, you know, he would have them 50% of the time. Maybe, maybe not. If you can prove that he's, you know, abusive, maybe not. But they will have you 100% of that 50 time instead of you scattered trying to please the abuser when they're with you. So in other words, yes, they're going to have to go over there, but then they're going to have your full attention when they're with you. And you're going to make sure that they get into a therapist. Because remember, when you're leaving or divorcing a narcissist, you want to make sure that it's written in your divorce decree that the kids get therapy. So, and the fear also is, oh my gosh, I don't have enough money. I'm not going to be able to survive. Well, listen, you're not going to be able to survive staying with the narcissist either. They will always keep you in a state of absolute poverty. They do. It's like they won't let you save up the money to leave. They will keep, as long as they know you have money, they will keep spending it. They will keep buying the motorcycles or the cars or the jackets or the clothes or the jewelry or the whatever in order to keep you broke so that you cannot hire an attorney to fire your spouse. So yeah, you definitely want to get out if that is the case, because that's abuse. That is verbal abuse. That is mental abuse. Abusers don't change, guys. I cannot say this strongly enough. They do not change. They get worse with age. They get meaner. They get nastier. They get sneakier. They get, you know, they're just nasty. So you want to get out if you can, especially if you've got little ones. Because what are you setting the example for the little ones for? The little ones are watching this. They're absorbing all of this. Oh, that's how guys treat women. Oh, well, that's how a woman should allow herself to be treated. Get out. Show them that that's not the way. So absolutely. Okay. What is intermittent positive, what is intermittent explosive disorder? Not to be confused with intermittent positive. Yeah, okay, so I can't even say it. Okay, intermittent explosive disorder. All right, intermittent explosive disorder is exactly what it sounds like. It's intermittent and they blow up. So it's like sometimes they're great and other times they explode. That is exactly what narcissists do. So intermittent explosive disorder is they, have periods of time where they're fine and then something triggers them and they just lose it. So it is an excuse I have heard narcissists use. Oh, I have intermittent explosive disorders. No, you're just a jerk. Seriously. So it is supposedly an impulse control issue. I'm not buying it. So I had to deal with a coworker one time that had intermittent explosive disorder. And things would be fine for a while. And then she would come into the office and she would just come unglued over the weirdest things. And it literally was looking for an excuse. Does this sound familiar to anybody? So narcissists look for an excuse to come unglued, absolutely unglued. And so, and this would go on. It's like tension would build in her and she needed to release it. And so she would come in and she would find an excuse to either come after me because she had a problem with me because I'm a powerful woman and that threatened her. Or she would go after one of the little office girls. And of course, I didn't give her the narcissistic supply she was looking for. So she went after one of the little office girls and made her cry and the whole thing. So the last time that happened, I went to the owner and I said, here's the deal. This is intermittent explosive disorder. This is not okay. She either gets it handled or I have the power to have her committed. Your choice. It never happened again. That just showed me right there. This was a choice. She was choosing. She was choosing to do this. So when it really got, when shit got real, it was like, oh my God, I can't do this. I can't explode on people or I'm going to end up in a loony bin. So yeah, absolutely. So intermittent explosive disorder is what narcissists do. It's this tension builds inside of them. They want to release it, and they're going to take it out on whoever is going to give them the most narcissistic supply. They're looking for your anger. They're looking for your sadness. They're looking for your hurt. They're looking for, whatever. So there it is. All right. So there is that. I hope that explains it. Is it an impulse control? Well, yes and no, but it's a learned behavior, and they've learned they can get away with it. So as soon as they learn they can't get away with it, funny, those little outbursts stopped. Go figure. So yeah, do you see where I'm going with that? Okay. Do people who have had long-term abusive relationships become abusers, or is that fleas? Well, they can. They can become abusers themselves. So when somebody is in an abusive relationship and they are not getting help, and remember, it's all about, the key is getting help. It really, honest to God, is. So when somebody is in a long-term abusive relationship and they don't get help, they can become abusers themselves. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely they can become abusers themselves. So, or they can become champions and help other people, or they've picked up fleas that they need to unlearn. And how do you know the difference? So generally, people with the fleas are the ones that go, ooh, I have this behavior, I don't like it. I want to change. And then they go change. They go to a therapist. They get the self-help books. They do what they need to do to make themselves a better person. Does that make sense? So, they're working on themselves, and they don't allow the behavior to continue. So remember, it's like if you find a behavior that you don't like, then you make it stop, and it does not happen again. You know what I'm saying? So that's somebody who's working on it. Now, this other person, were they working on it? No, they didn't ever really work on it. They just had the threat of getting committed over them, so that's why they stopped. So do you see the difference? It's like there was no therapy done. There was no self-help books. There was no, So, so the fleas, you recognize it. You go, ooh, that thing that just came out of my mouth, ooh, that sounds just like my abuser. It sounds like my dad, my mom, my lover, my boss, my whatever. And you go, I don't want to do that. And so then you work on it and you change it. And you make sure it doesn't happen again. When they have become abusers is they just spew it, and then they claim abuse amnesia. Oh, I never said that. I never did that. And they're doing all the gaslighting, all of the, lying to themselves first and foremost, lying to you second of all. So that's kind of the difference, So yeah, sometimes abused become abusers. Sometimes they become champions and help the abused. And other times they recognize it's fleas, they work on themselves, and they stop. They stop the chain, which is good. That's what you want. Okay. Attachment styles. Okay, can you please explain attachment styles? So when a child is being raised, okay, a healthy, normal attachment is the kid is secure. Mom and dad, can leave the room and the kid knows the parents are coming back. It's like the kid doesn't have an anxious attachment style. So an anxious attachment style is where they're constantly, like, where's mom, where's dad, where's mom, where's dad, where's mom, where's dad. There's no security. There's no, hey, go explore. Hey, it's okay. Hey, I'm right here. Hey, I'm in the other room. Hey, So the kid has an anxious attachment style because the parents were inconsistent. So kids need consistency. They need consistency like sun comes up in the east and goes down in the west. They need that kind of consistency. When you are raised by a disordered parent, there is no consistency. It's all inconsistency. One time the parent could be fine, and the next time the parent could be having a rage attack. And that terrifies kids, and that causes, anxious attachments. It does. Then you've got the avoidant attachments. So you avoid. You're not going to get emotionally involved with anybody. It's like, nope, I know what that leads to. No, thank you. So you avoid being intimate with anybody, kind of thing. So abused kids learn very early that they cannot trust the caregivers in their life. And so they either, avoid, or they become very clingy, and it's all because of how the parents treated those kids. So yeah, attachment style has a huge impact on how we have adult romantic relationships. So it's always a good idea to figure out what was your attachment style when you were a kid? What was going on? And the good news is those attachment styles can be healed. And they can be healed through therapy, and they can be healed through being in healthy relationships, including healthy friendships, including healthy work relationships, including healthy romantic relationships. So you can develop a secure attachment style once you realize, okay, I can work on this. This can change. All of these issues belong to my caregivers, not to me. So yeah, so attachment styles are huge. That's also, trauma responses. So when kids, don't ask for help, well, it's because we learned early on we can't trust anybody around us to actually help us. So yeah, attachment styles very much influence how we behave. All right. What is EMDR? Okay. EMDR is eye movement desensitization reprocessing. So how it doesn't work, I don't really know. I don't completely understand it, but basically what they do is it's kind of a form of hypnosis in a way. So they either use flashing lights that go from one side to the other, or they use a object that goes back and forth, and your eyes are following it. And you're able to talk about the traumatic events without involving the amygdala. So the amygdala is our fight, flight, freeze, or fawn center. And this little guy is what screws us up when we have to recount trauma, which is why some clients are like, I don't want to have to recount it. Can I just send you a summary? Yeah, sure, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Just so I know what's happened so I can help you. So yeah, so it's the amygdala when it processes a threat, when it feels a threat. And that can be a memory. It can be, a smell, a sound, a taste, somebody that reminds you of the abuser, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This little guy lights up like a Christmas tree, tells the hippocampus hypothalamus to release cortisol. Cortisol is our stress hormone. Body's flooded with cortisol. We start tensing up, getting ready to fight, flight, freeze so that the predator walks on by, or fawn, give in to the predator so that we don't get killed. So EMDR is really good for processing trauma because it short circuits this. So this little guy doesn't get involved, the cortisol doesn't get released, we don't have a panic attack. So it's a great way to process trauma. EFT is another great way to process trauma. CBT is great if you're okay talking about it. You know, DBT, same thing. So, you know, you just gotta, and some people love EMDR, other people are like, it didn't do much. So, you know, if the modality is not working after like a month or two, you know, and talk to this with the provider. It's like, well, when can I start expecting to see results, or when can I, you know, that kind of thing. If it's not working after a certain amount of time, then stop and go for a different modality. But EMDR can be very good for processing trauma so that you're not constantly in a state of triggeredness. I don't even know if that's a word, but yeah, you're not constantly triggered. So yeah, that's what you want to do. So check it out. EFT is another good one. Why does my girlfriend who has borderline personality disorder keep pushing me away, especially after we had a really good or intimate period of time? So it's a preemptive abandonment. So the worst fear for somebody with borderline personality disorder is being abandoned. And it's because of trauma. BPD is based in trauma. Something happened when they were little. So the worst fear is abandonment. So often what I see people with borderline personality disorder do is they shove the person they love the most away in an effort, again, this is attachment style, think about it, hello, you know, in an effort to not be abandoned. So if I can abandon you, I'm okay. If I'm doing it, I'm okay. If you're doing it, I'm not okay. So it's a really disordered way of thinking. So they're doing it because they're terrified. Intimacy terrifies people with borderline because they've been abandoned. They've been harmed. They've been hurt. There's been trauma. So it's a maladaptive way of trying to stay safe. So what I would encourage, there's a great book called The Borderline Survival Guide by Chapman and Gratz. Stop Walking on Eggshells by Randy Krieger. Encourage your person to get help. This is a maladaptive way of doing it. And eventually, at some point, you're going to get tired of being shoved away, and you really will leave, and that will be very traumatic for your person. So encourage your person to get help. DBT, dialectic behavioral therapy. If you have to, find a therapist, a couples therapist that does DBT. You know, that would be a good way so that you're doing it. Hey, let's strengthen our relationship. Let's work on this, and then hopefully the therapist will then also say, hey, individual would be a really good idea, and then get her into a individual DBT therapist. Now, if she's willing to do that, great. If she's not willing to do that, you need to start looking at an exit plan, because it won't get better without help. It just won't. All right, I think I have time for a couple more questions. Or maybe not. Good Lord, these are kind of thick. Okay, well, let me answer this one, and then I'm going to stop. Do they really believe their own lies? Yes. Yes, they do. So remember, con artists have to sell things convincingly. And in order to sell things convincingly, in the moment, they have to believe their own lies. Do they know they're lying? Yes. Do they, you know, and they can convince themselves of a lie. That's why narcissists repeat stuff all the time. Because if it's repeated and repeated and repeated and repeated, it becomes the truth in their head. So, yeah, they do believe their lies. And, yeah, that's why they repeat the lies over and over and over again, because they're trying to reinforce it in their own head, and they're trying to reinforce it in your head that it's the truth, when, in fact, it's a bald-faced lie. So, yeah, they do absolutely believe their own lies. They believe their own press. They absolutely believe their own press. So, yeah. So here's the thing. A lion doesn't need to announce that they're a lion, but a narcissist needs to announce how brilliant they are, how smart they are, how funny they are, how, you know, they have to tell people that, and they will repeat over and over again that they are the best of the best of the best. I'm the best person ever. I'm the best person that ever did this. I'm the best. Who are they trying to convince? You know, it's like a lion does not need to announce they're a lion, but a narcissist needs to try to convince you that they are everything that you ever wanted. So, yeah, that's something to keep in mind. All right, kids. Well, have a wonderful holiday season. There will be no show this week. I'm taking Sunday off. But then the following Sunday, we're going to be talking about emotional vampires and how to get away from them when you're in a social situation. I think that would be something really good to cover because I know I myself have been dropped by them several times. So, okay. So we're going to talk about that. So you guys have a great weekend, and I will talk to you not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. All right, guys. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Talk to you later. Bye.